The obsidian claw hung in the void like a predator's grin, its jagged hull bristling with stolen weaponry from a dozen conquered worlds. Inside its command deck, the self-proclaimed Pirate King Vexler lounged on a throne made from the melted-down hull of a Federation cruiser, his four eyes gleaming with satisfaction as he surveyed his latest prizes. 23 hostages knelt in a row before him, their hands bound with plasma cuffs that would sever limbs at the slightest attempt to escape. Among them were ambassadors, merchants, and one terrified child clutching a stuffed creature from some distant colony. The ransom demands had already been transmitted across known space, 20 million credits per head. Or they'd start spacing them one by one. Vexler's reputation preceded him across 17 star systems. He'd never failed to collect, never shown mercy, and never left survivors when ransoms went unpaid. His crew of cutthroats and killers numbered over 200, each more vicious than the last dot. When the small shuttle approached the Obsidian Claw's docking bay, Vexler's laughter echoed through the corridors. They sent one ship? One pathetic shuttle? His first mate, a scarred Thraxion with acid for blood, checked the sensors. Sir, there's only one life sign aboard. Female, human. A human? Vexler's mandibles clicked with amusement. Those weak, soft-skinned creatures? Let her dock. I could use some entertainment before we start the executions. Mona stepped off the shuttle wearing nothing but standard civilian clothes, no armor, no visible weapons, just a simple jacket and boots. Her dark hair was pulled back in a practical ponytail, and her eyes held the calm of deep ocean waters before a storm. The docking bay was filled with pirates. At least 50 of them, weapons trained on her from every angle. She walked forward slowly, hands visible at her sides, her footsteps echoing in the cavernous space. "I'm here to negotiate," she called out. Her voice steady, a chorus of laughter rippled through the pirates. One of them, a hulking Krogoth with tusks like daggers, stepped forward. "Negotiate? Stupid human. You're now hostage number 24. Mona stopped walking. "I don't think so. And why not?" The Krogoth raised his plasma rifle. "Because I gave you a chance to stand down. You should have taken it." The laughter grew louder. Vexler's voice boomed over the intercom. "Bring her to me. I want to see this brave little human before I sell her to the flesh markets." They surrounded her, weapons pressed against her back and sides. Mona didn't resist as they marched her through the corridors of the Obsidian Claw. She simply observed counting guards, noting security checkpoints, mapping the ship in her mind with the precision of someone who'd done this 100 times before. The command deck doors hissed open, revealing Vexler in all his terrible glory. He was massive, his exoskeleton decorated with the bones of those he'd killed, his throne surrounded by weapons taken from fallen enemies. "So," Vexler leaned forward, "the Federation sends me one small human woman to negotiate." How insulting. How delicious. Mona's expression never changed. "I'm not from the Federation. Then who are you?" "My name is Mona. I'm here for the hostages. Are you now?" Vexler's laugh was like grinding metal. "And what makes you think you're leaving with anything except your own corpse?" "Because behind me in that docking bay is Lieutenant Alberto Reyes of the Terran Defense Force. In approximately 30 seconds, he's going to come through those doors and things are going to get very loud and very messy. I'm giving you a chance to release the hostages before that happens." Vexler's eyes narrowed. There was only one life sign on that shuttle. Mona smiled for the first time, a cold, dangerous smile. "Humans are very good at hiding. We've had millennia of practice." Before Vexler could respond, alarms blared throughout the ship. His first mate frantically checked his console. "Sir, multiple contacts. Commandos in the docking bay. They're cutting through The transmission cut off as explosions rocked the Obsidian Claw. "You see," Mona continued, her voice calm despite the chaos. "Alberto was in the cargo hold, cryosleep, shielded. Your sensors couldn't detect him because we learned long ago that the best weapon is the one your enemy doesn't see coming." Gunfire echoed through the corridors. Screams followed. Vexler roared and reached for his weapon, but Mona was faster. She'd palmed a small device from her sleeve, a human innovation, nothing more than a localized EMP, and triggered it. Every weapon on the command deck went dead. The doors exploded inward. Alberto stormed in with a squad of commandos, their railguns cutting through pirates like paper. But it was Alberto himself who was most terrifying. Enhanced reflexes, combat armor that made him look like a human tank, and eyes that burned with calculated fury. Within minutes it was over. The pirates lay unconscious or restrained, their weapons scattered uselessly across the deck. Alberto moved to secure Vexler personally, his armored fist closing around the pirate king's throat. "Please," Vexler wheezed, his pride shattered. "Mercy. Mona walked to the hostages and began releasing their plasma cuffs one by one. "Mercy?" she said softly. "That's a human concept, but it comes with conditions." She approached Vexler, looking up at the being who terrorized 17 systems. "You're going to stand trial. Every hostage, every murder, every crime, and you're going to spend whatever's left of your life understanding something important." "What?" Vexler gasped. "Humans don't negotiate with terrorists. We don't pay ransoms. We don't leave our people behind." She leaned closer. "We walk in alone if we have to. We do whatever it takes. And we always walk out with all of them." Alberto's team efficiently moved the hostages toward the shuttle. The child with the stuffed creature looked up at Mona with wide eyes. "Are we safe now?" Mona knelt down, her expression softening. "Yes, sweetheart. You're going home." As they evacuated the Obsidian Claw, Federation ships emerged from hyperspace, the cavalry arriving to clean up the aftermath. Mona and Alberto stood in the shuttle bay, watching the pirate vessel being surrounded. "You know," Alberto said, removing his helmet, "you really should have let me go in first." Mona shrugged. "Where's the fun in that? Besides, someone had to make sure they were all distracted when you woke up. You're insane." "No," she smiled. "I'm human." "There's a difference." As the shuttle pulled away from the Obsidian Claw, carrying all 23 hostages safely home, the story began to spread across the stars. The tale of how a human woman walked into a pirate stronghold alone and walked out with everyone. How humanity, those strange, stubborn, impossibly brave creatures, never abandoned their own, the pirate king, had learned too late what the rest of the galaxy was beginning to understand. You could threaten humans. You could try to intimidate them. But you could never, ever make them back down when their people needed them. That was the human way. And that was why the galaxy both feared and respected them in equal measure.